What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be talking about something that I am super passionate about in a college football 25 Ultimate Team, and that is getting the best players and legends of our game in the game and all when it comes to Ultimate Team. Right now, I know we do have some legends in the game. You guys can go see like the legend set, but overall, I feel like the majority of the top guys or the majority of the cards that we do have in college football Ultimate Team right now are not really what I think about when I think of college football, and more specifically, when I think of the legends. As I've gathered some thoughts to this, it really got me thinking. Are these legends just not yet in the game because Madden just got released and maybe it was something that was going to come? Or is it a situation where EA themselves never even reached out to these individuals? So obviously, I don't know this answer. Nobody knows this answer. So I took it upon myself to dive a little deeper and figure this out. To do this, guys, I sent a message to 14 college legends, All-Americans, Heisman winners, guys that hold all-time records in college football. Now, I'm not going to go in detail on every specific DM that I sent or DM that I received, but overall, I sent each and every individual relatively the same message, a little different, obviously personalized it a little bit, but I just wanted to get a gauge on, is EA actually trying to put some effort into college Ultimate Team, making their best college players in the game? Or is it something that they don't really care about? I'm going to go over some of the guys that did not send me a message back. Look, if I was them, I probably wouldn't message back either. A random guy on Twitter, okay, not random, but a guy they've probably never heard of, asking them on Twitter for details about whether EA's asked them to be in a college football game. Who knows even if they get on Twitter? Who knows if they're going to play college football Ultimate Team or not? But some guys that I didn't hear back from, which is okay, like a guy like Monte Ball. And I just want to go over some of his stats in college as a junior at Wisconsin. Totaled over 2,200 yards. Absolutely ridiculous. Averaged 6 yards a carry, accounting for 39 touchdowns in his junior season. And in his senior season, he accounted for over 1,900 yards as well. So an absolute stud at Wisconsin. Monte Ball obviously did a number to my Iowa Hawkeyes. Never messaged me back, but it made me wonder, has EA reached out to him? Another guy that didn't reach back out to me again, which is okay, is Scooby Wright, a consensus All-American, won some big-time awards like the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, was an absolute beast, an absolute stud in college at Arizona. Next guy I did reach out to that again never messaged me back, which I don't blame him whatsoever, as I don't blame anybody that did not reach out to me, is Tevin Reese from Baylor. I remember him watching him at Baylor, having some big time years, totaling nearly 1,000 yards in his sophomore and junior seasons at Baylor, putting up some just ridiculous numbers throughout his career. Averaging nearly 17 yards per reception in both of those seasons. Another guy that I know Baylor fans, for example, would love to have in the game. The next guy I want to talk about is Juice Williams from Illinois. And if you know anything about late 2000s, Juice Williams was an absolute stud. In 2008, finished first overall in yards in the Big Ten. In that season, rushed for over 700 yards. Threw for a ton of yards as well for the Illinois Illini, throwing for over 3,100 yards in that season. A dual threat quarterback, would be a stud in college football Ultimate Team. Daryl Clark, the next guy I'm going to talk about today that I did reach out to, who I never heard back from Penn State, the quarterback, another dual threat guy, again, in the air, did it all, man. In 2009, threw over 3,000 yards. In 2008, with 2,600 yards on the ground. He finished first in the Big Ten in 2008 as well as 2009 in touchdowns, responsible for as well as passing touchdowns. For me, another guy that when I grew up watching the Big Ten, I think of Daryl Clark. The next guy is Tevin Coleman out of Indiana, who finished 7th in Heisman voting in his sophomore and junior seasons, and he averaged a respectable 7.7 and 7.4 yards per carry in those seasons. And in that junior year, he accounted for 2,036 rushing yards, which is just ridiculous when you're thinking about the Indiana Hoosiers, man. Tevin Coleman put that team where it probably never would have been without him. And if we don't get a Tevin Coleman card this year, I'm going to be super upset. Deshaun Hamilton, the next player I do want to get in and talk about, had a great career at Penn State. Through it from his freshman season through his senior season, put up some big time numbers. He accounted for nearly 3,000 yards between all 4 years, accounted for 18 touchdowns. And in that senior season, I added 9 touchdowns, which was really impressive, was really good overall at Penn State. When you think about Big Ten football in the mid-2010s, Deshaun Hamilton is a guy you think of. Now we're going to branch out a little bit from the Big Ten, Big 12, and we're going to be talking about LaMichael James from Oregon, who was a beast. I know you guys in the early 2010s, as well as I, was just fascinated with Oregon and what they were doing. And LaMichael James was a big part of it. In 3 seasons, he accounted for over 5,000 yards and 57 touchdowns. I want you guys to let that sink into you guys what LaMichael James truly did. Won the Doak Walker Award in 2010, as well as a consensus All-American. It doesn't get much better than what LaMichael James did for the Oregon Ducks in college. So those guys I just covered are all guys that I never heard back from. And again, that is all fine. I'm not trying to sit here and hate on them for not getting back to me. Like I said, I probably wouldn't have gotten back to me myself, but it just makes me wonder, like, has EA reached out to those guys? Are those guys planned to be put in the game? And if they are, when and how many of them? If they aren't, EA, get on it, because all of those guys are college legends, in my opinion. Now let's get to some guys who I have heard back from and where they are at. Let's start with the Ohio State guys who, I mean, look, they've been pretty vocal on Twitter. I'll go over Troy Smith as well as Braxton Miller, because those are 2 guys that did reach back out to me. It sounded like it wasn't such a sure thing, and it sounded like they had to jump through hoops to, start even making their way towards getting in contact with EA. Now, it sounds like they have been in contact with EA recently, so hopefully we get them in the game soon. But to me, it's sad that it wasn't super easy for those guys to be put in the game. Another guy that I did reach out to was Donnell Pumphrey, the running back out of San Diego State, who, again, was a stud. The stats speak for themselves. Now, it is interesting with Pumphrey, the fact that I reached out to him and he said that they had been in contact with Pumphrey and that he should be put in the game. So not all is lost with EA. They have reached out to some college legends for sure. A couple other guys that I do want to talk specifically about that I did reach out to that did reach back out to me. First off, Terrence Williams. Terrence Williams, another Baylor wide receiver who was a first-team All-American. I want to read these stats for you. His senior season, 97 receptions for 1,800 yards and 12 touchdowns. Let those stats sink in for you guys. Absolutely ridiculous. But he has not been reached out to. I want you guys to hear these stats again. In 13 games, he caught for over 1,800 yards and had 12 touchdowns. That is a crazy amount of yards per game, nearly 150 yards a game. And if you remember, that Baylor Bears offense back then was so exciting to watch. Again, reach out to him. Shout out to Terrence Williams. Got back to me, said that yes, he has not gotten reached out to, but I'm really hoping that he does, get in the game, because I love using his card. And these are guys that would like to be in the game. Like Terrence Williams vocalized to me that he would like to be in the game, and it's something that EA should be on top of. He was an All-American with stats that are nearly unheard of. Definitely deserves to be in the game. The last guy I want to spend some time talking about is James White. James White, an absolute stud at Wisconsin. 1,700 yards from the scrimmage his senior season, and throughout his career, put up over 4,600 yards of offense. And just at Wisconsin, they had the running backs like Monte Ball, like a James White. I mean, they were just absolute studs. But he's not heard from EA either. And why, I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense from me. When I grew up watching the Big Ten, James White was an absolute stud, an absolute beast. So again, these are guys that I actually have heard back from, and they want to be in the game. But why do they have to go through hoops to be in a video game from EA? EA needs to take initiative and get these studs in the game. That's going to wrap it up for my video today, guys. Hopefully each and every guys did enjoy it. I only reached out to 14 guys, but out of the 5 or 6 that got back to me, most of them did not have EA reach out directly to them. Maybe one out of the 5 or 6 college legends, they're legends, some of them Heisman Trophy winners, EA did not reach out to directly, which is a problem in my opinion, because again, I think for college football Ultimate Team to be at its best, we need the college legends in the game. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.